Feel the goosebumps. July 1979. Here I was, sitting alone on a plane flying from London to Israel. I was 23 years old and had just left my first job working at Anderson Consulting and looking forward to fulfilling my dream before starting grad school in September. That dream was spending time in Israel. 12 years earlier, when Israel was attacked and the Six-Day War broke out in 1967, the country was in its infancy, only 19 years old. That's hard to imagine today. I was just 11, but the war and the possibility of Israel not existing had a major impact on me. And just 6 years later, attending Yom Kippur services while starting college as a 17-year-old freshman, the rabbi announced that Israel had been attacked again. The Yom Kippur War had started. After the first 3 days, the situation was dire for the country and the Jewish people. But we turned it around and survived. I knew then I had to get to Israel. Today, an Israel trip is commonplace for our youth. My eldest Rachel went to Israel on the Jewish Day School 8th grade trip, and my younger daughter Shayna went on birthright. 40 plus years ago, the opportunities were much more limited. Back to 1979, I had the time and the resources to make an early dream come true. So I put the plan in place. A week in London, seeing plays and sightseeing, and then 6 weeks touring Israel, staying at youth hostels throughout the country. I booked a flight on El Al, even though it was more expensive than TWA, the alternative at the time. How could I fly into Israel for the first time and not be on an Israeli airline? I purposely booked a window seat so I wouldn't miss a moment of the experience of entering Israel. And here I was on that El Al flight from London to Israel. As we started our descent over Israel, I expected to see a lot of sand. To my amazement, there were trees and crops and just a lot of green. I knew I was starting to experience something special. And then, over the loudspeaker, the crew blasted out Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, Jerusalem of Gold. The entire plane started singing. Tears came to my eyes, and the most incredible goosebumps spread over my arms. Even though I knew no one on the plane, I felt a strong kinship with everyone. So why am I writing about this? Fast forward to August 19th, 2022. I'm sitting in the sanctuary enjoying our Rhythm and Jews service Friday night. A great crowd for Kabbalat of 125 to 150 people. Schmoozing outside in the foyer beforehand, people came for the wonderful service, for the fantastic Rhythm and Jews ensemble, for the terrific Jacob Ades bar mitzvah, for the fabulous Shabbat after. Everyone was in great spirits and having a great time. Then we turned to page 29, and Julia Perry from the Rhythm and Jews ensemble started singing Miklot Mayim Rabim. Julia is a talented congregant, heading off to Boston to start her freshman year at the Berklee College of Music. It was incredibly beautiful and inspiring. There were some singing with her, but mostly people just took in the moment. And yes, my eyes teared up, and I got those goosebumps. And I felt that Jewish kinship with everyone in the room. Maybe it was being away for 2 years. Maybe it was that special feeling you only get when you're immersed in all things Jewish. But I had not experienced that feeling for a long time. The rest of the service and the Ruach of the Shabbat was icing on the cake, but that one moment was special. Attending services remotely can be nice and spiritual, and for some it may be the only option. But it's not the same as being together. It's the community. It's being part of something special. It's being Jewish. We've lived through a very tough 2 years physically and mentally. We've adjusted to remote living, phone calls and Zooms. But many of us forget what we're missing. My message, at different times in our lives we fly solo, and other times we travel in flocks. If you are able, please come to high holiday services in person. I miss you. H&T misses you. The community misses you. And whether you realize it or not, you miss us.